If you are a SoFi app user, then you need to watch this. If you are a SoFi stock investor, then also you need to watch this. And if you are in stock market or in any other fintech, doesn't matter, Lending Club, PayPal, Square, then also you need to watch this. This is going to be a long video and a very detailed video. So sit back, relax, and hear me out. Okay, so we are going to talk about, one second. Okay, so we are going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of SoFi. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and I'm not going to tell you things just because we like SoFi and we are investors. At the end of the day, SoFi didn't pay us to buy the stock. We bought the stock from our own hard-earned money. So no emotions, just pure data. Videos like this take a lot of time to research and look at many different things before we can come to a conclusion. So I will really appreciate an early thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment below how or what you think about SoFi, and consider joining our Patreon and Discord for more details about stock, markets, and investing. Links are in the description below. So let me start the main part of this video by giving you 4 major points, and then I will share the source and explain these points in detail. So let's start with the 4 points. Number 1, user growth slows down. Number 2, Q4 2022 revenue projections are less. Number 3, 2022 annual projected revenue is scaled back. Number 4, less consumer spending. Now, this is not from one company's earning report, but this is a combination of PayPal, Lending Club, and few other fintechs and few other companies in the same sector. This is what they all are coming together and reporting, and I feel like they're singing the same song. PayPal and many other companies really benefited by the pandemic, right? I mean, they've thought that, and many other companies thought that the user adoption and user would stick around. It appears many users didn't become regular users. Now, PayPal is the leader in e-commerce and P2P payments, and they actually recently added in-store payment, which more than double its addressable market. Still, PayPal is hanging its future on user engagement with its new super app that bundles shopping, buy now, pay later, banking services, including investing and crypto, to sustain 20% medium-term growth. Now, I don't have to spell this out for you, but this is where things are looking a little dicey for SoFi. If a company like PayPal have tamed their expectation for 2022 in terms of user growth, then how is SoFi going to handle that? So I have done a bit of research, and I'm going to share my screen again over here with you, and I'm going to give you some facts here. So the app download, and let me actually share in data terms with you and take a look at the SoFi app download. Data from Sensor Tower. Now, this info, I'm not sure if this is 100% correct, but I have been tracking this for a while. I'm pretty sure some of you already have seen this in my previous videos. So we'll continue with the trend and see what kind of results we get in the earnings. So right here, look, this was September when we had, in iOS actually, this was September when we had 80K downloads. Then in October, we had 100K download. Then in November, we had 200K download. This was the Rivian time everybody's saying. So of course, the downloads were high. And then in December, we had, Thursday today. Okay, in December, we had 90K downloads. And then in January, we had 70K downloads. So we have been seeing a higher trend in terms of September. Now, I've been tracking since September, so I really don't know what happened before that. But you can see 80, 100, 200, then 90, and then now 70 in January of 2022. This is not a good sign. 70K downloads from 90K, 20K less. Now pay attention to what's going on with Android downloads. 100K in October, 100K in November, they were same. Then 60K in December, and now in January we have 70K. So at least some good number in Android downloads for January of 2022. Okay, so with that said, we know that we'll be facing some headwinds in the stock market as we get closer to the Fed meeting in March. Fed has left the market guessing, and markets do not like that. We'll see minimum 3 interest rate hikes and maximum 5. I think market already digested that, and the news is already priced in. What is dangerous is that bears are in full form. There is so much shorting going on that it's almost crazy and dangerous for us investors because machines are running the show at the moment. As soon as they see price of a security climb up just by a few cents or few dollars depending on the security of course, the AI machine comes into play and start dumping the shares to cover the shorts or just plain and simple make money on their puts. So next, I would like to go over 4 biggest dangers for SoFi going into the earnings, and then I will cover 3 biggest positives for SoFi, and then I will share what I expect from the earnings. So number one, I'm going to actually share the chart and bring these 4 points on your screen so we can go over one by one. Okay, so number one, if SoFi comes out in earnings and doesn't matter how good of a Q4 earnings are, but they give us a softer user growth for 2022, then that'll be a huge deal. Remember, PayPal cut their user growth by 1/3. It's massive and most risky thing for SoFi. Number two, if SoFi comes out right here and tell us that their lending business will slow down in 2022, then that's another bad news because the student loan part is still hanging. We know it's supposed to end May 31st, but no one knows that for sure. Biden admin can easily extend that very easily. Now you can see that Q1 2022 revenue projections will be less because if the user growth is less and if lending business is slowing down, then they may come back or they may come out and give us a slower projection, which is going to, of course, hurt the stock. Number three, if SoFi announces lower revenue expectation for 2022 given the above mentioned facts and also lower trading activity. Now Rivian really helped fuel the app download and app adoption, but if they slash their revenue projection for 2022, then that'll be really bad news as that is going to panic investors and we will have more downgrades from analysts and retail investors will freak out. As you know that some of us follow the analyst very closely. Now I follow their reports. I don't follow their price target because if SoFi comes out and announces something big, they can come back and change their price target like this, like in a flash. So I really don't pay attention on the price targets, but I do read their reports because they have some important and sometimes very good things to kind of bring our attention to. And then the fourth part is less consumer spending. So that's another point which I'm going to look at because consumer spending is really big. SoFi has limited number of consumers. What they make money on is that they have the same consumers spend a lot more in the app. They could be a consumer of lending. They also could be a consumer of trading. They also could be a consumer of basically loans. So we are talking about one consumer giving them multiple sources of revenue from multiple services that SoFi offer. So if they come out and say that they have less consumer spending per consumer or less spending per consumer, that is going to hurt SoFi's projection for 2022. Now, not all is doom and gloom, okay? I don't want this video to be like a really negative video for SoFi. There are some positive news, or there is some positive news about SoFi as we get into 2022. So let's talk about 3 of the biggest blockbuster announcements that could come in Q4 earnings call. Number one, bank charter. And I have to mention this because bank charter will reduce their borrowing cost and their profit margins will increase. That will also help in increasing their revenue per customer, which in turn will give us a better EBITDA, which is going to be really good for the stock. Number two, no more warrants on the balance sheet. Remember, they were liabilities. Now, there could be one-time charge on the sheet related to warrants, but getting rid of the warrants will help SoFi with a stronger balance sheet going forward. Number three, this is where we get a little hopeful. Maybe some news about M&A activity or mergers and acquisition inside SoFi, which none of us have expected, and also more expansion in the overseas market, which is a huge area where SoFi can lead. So as I mentioned, it's not all doom and gloom, and we do have some hope. But here's the fact. It's not enough for companies to have blockbuster Q4 because market is forward looking. They don't care if you had a steak for dinner. They need to know if you can afford guacamole with your burrito for lunch tomorrow. You know what I mean. Here comes the disclaimer. This is all short-term headwinds. SoFi is a great long-term company and company will do great by 2025. No doubt, but these times are hard on even the most mature companies. I will have a detailed earning expectation and breakdown in the coming weeks as we get closer to the date, and we'll also have more data from other earnings. I think Affirm, Square, they all are very, very important for us to kind of see what is going on into the sector. So of course, especially with the user growth and also the revenue expectation. I know it's a long video and I hope I didn't bore you. And if you enjoyed, then please give this video a thumbs up and consider joining our Patreon because some of our members are really genius in trades, options, and just all over market conditions. And also mention in the comments, what are your thoughts for 2022 for SoFi? Of course, long term, we know it's a great company, but what are your price prediction for SoFi by the end of 2022? A pleasure to share all of this with you. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.